Hey everyone, Kirk here, and welcome back to the Geek Effect. In today's video, I'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Black and Gold Suit Spider-Man from Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, last week I took a look at the Doctor Strange from this collection, and it was a pretty decent figure in my opinion, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this one holds up, especially when comparing it to my retro Spider-Man from the Toy Biz inspired line from Hasbro, so we'll definitely see how that looks. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy, starting with the packaging. So the packaging isn't so different here when it comes to this figure. I mean, it's the same thing that you get with the Doctor Strange figure from this collection. So it is, usual things like the Legend Series logo at the top, the Spider-Man logo at the top as well, and then the info for Marvel's Armadillo, which is the Build-A-Figure. And then you also have the Spider-Man No Way Home logo at the bottom, along with the text that just states which figure is inside this box, which is the black and gold suit. Says it in different languages, and then Spider-Man at the bottom of that. And then you also have the Hasbro logo in the corner. Flipping it around to the side, you will see the artwork for the black and gold suit, which does look cool. You also have the spider icon at the bottom of that, and then some details that look reminiscent of the integrated suit from the movie, so I do love those details there. And then when you flip it around to the back, that's where you'll get some more info. It does say Marvel Legends Series once again, then Spider-Man, and then a little read-up on the character or the figure, which says, Spider-Man relies on his black and gold suit and abilities to defend against threats. And then you have a full image of the suit, which is shown on the side of the box, as well as the info on Marvel's Armadillo, and it just points out which figures come with which part if you're looking to build up the Marvel's Armadillo figure. We just want to get this figure out of the box and see how good it is, mess around with it, get an idea of how, it works and everything like that. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we have the black and gold suit out of the box, and this guy does look pretty neat in my opinion. I love the details on it, and although there may not be a whole lot of it there, because at the end of the day, this is a pretty basic looking suit, in my opinion, it does capture the look from the movie very well. I think that Hasbro and the Marvel Legends team did a good job with that, and they also did a nice job capturing that stature and body build of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Like, it looks nice. Now, the one thing when it comes to this figure, right off the bat, I'll just get it out the way, that irks me with this guy is gonna be the forearm and hand details. These are advertised as red and black here on the figure, but when you look at the movie and you look at even the packaging for this figure, on the back of the box, it advertises an all black and gold suit Spider-Man, which is how he appears in the film, and it's also how he appears in, other sort of figures that are out there, whether it be the Titan Hero Series 1 or the Hot Toys version, where that one even had the same instance where it was like red and black, but then they updated it to be more accurate, and I just don't understand how this ended up going through to stores and everything like that to be this version and also be in a box that advertises the final version of the suit. It's one of those things that just kind of baffles me, and if you guys know why, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, because I would love to know. I know that sometimes, there is an issue with concept art and things not being finalized, and so that's what is released. It happens a lot when it comes to even Lego sets. I've had that experience in the past where you'll see a certain outfit and that's not how that appears in the movie, or that wasn't in the movie. Why is that there? It is the case a lot of times, but I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't ruin it too much. I mean, it technically is an accurate depiction of the, suit, but it's not the final depiction of the suit. So that's kind of what kind of bugs me a bit. But besides that, let's go ahead and get a closer look at this guy. So here we are up close with the black and gold suit, and this thing looks pretty neat in my opinion. Despite my issue that I have with the forearm and hands being in red and black versus black and gold as it should be due to the final design and what's also shown on the packaging, it kind of gets forgotten about once you're thinking of everything else that is here on this figure and how good it is. In my opinion, I think that this definitely has quite a bit of detail for such a simplistic design of a suit. When I look at the head sculpt, I definitely think that it has some nice shaping to it. And the cobweb pattern is definitely one of my favorite features of this guy because it's got a nice bit of texture to it. Because instead of them painting on the gold cobweb design onto the suit, it's actually engraved into the suit and then painted in gold, which is a nice bit of detail to have there for this guy. The wideness of the eyes on the head sculpt, that does look pretty cool as well because it matches the look of Tom Holland Spider-Man and how his suits are. It's one of those features of the suits that I think makes it unique in comparison to, Tobey Maguire's suit or Andrew Garfield's suit. It just adds that variation to it to kind of make it stand out. One of the other things I did notice up close when looking at it was that there is this circuitry sort of pattern in between the cobwebs that's in black. It's very faint, but if you're looking up close and depending on the lighting, I'm not sure how well it's going to show on camera, you are going to notice it. It's on the head, it's on the things like the legs And you'll also see things like that on the bicep. And I'm liking that they did that because if you've seen the movie, you'd know why that's there. I won't say it because, I would rather just not spoil it. Like, in case you haven't seen the movie, I just want to have that sort of courtesy there just in case. But go watch the movie and you'll understand why that's there. And so I'm glad that they put it there. The spider emblem on the front of the suit does look nice as well. I do like that detail and that shaping and everything. I think they did a good job with that. Flipping it around to the back, you will see the big spider emblem. And the only issue I have with this is just that the paint, is kind of wearing off here. And that's something that I'm used to seeing with Marvel Legends figures at the end of the day. So it's nothing I can really complain about. I can't complain about it, but it's not something that's like foreign to me. So that is there. You will also see some more of the gold details on the bicep area. That looks cool. Same thing on this arm. You'll also see the red and black details on both the hand and the forearms once you look right there. And then moving down towards the rest of the leg, you'll see more of that gold cobweb design on the calf and on the feet. And those look nice. For accessories, you do get tooth whipping hands to go with your figure, and they do look pretty cool. They actually have a bit of curve to the fingers, and those are nice because it adds that extra bit of character and style to this figure overall. And they also are in red and black, which is just to match the color of the forearms due to that early design of the suit. For the other accessory for this figure, it does come with the Build-A-Figure piece, which is for Marvel's Armadillo. It's one of the legs, and it does have a nice bit of texture to it. It looks pretty cool. The coloring is nice, and the sculpting and everything for it looks pretty cool as well. Like, there isn't a whole lot I can talk about these Build-A-Figure pieces because they are just one piece. It's not the complete figure. And also, I don't know enough about this character, or I really don't know anything about this character. So I'm not even sure if I have interest in wanting to complete this guy, but we will see what happens with that. So as for the articulation on this figure, after messing around with it for a bit, I will say it's got a good bit of articulation to it, and it will allow for some very nice posing in my opinion. Starting with the head area, you will see that it has a good bit of tilt going from the back and also pointing in towards the chest. So there is a good bit of head tilt there, and you'll also be able to rotate the head as you please, be able to turn it at certain angles to have them look sideways or anything like that, which is great. As for the shoulder joint area, it does make use of the butterfly joints once again, which is great because it does add that extra bit of posing to the figure. So you can have the arms be far back like that, or you can have them angle in as far as that. And there's also some rotation in the shoulder joint still, so that adds for that extra bit of motion to the figure. There's also some rotation in the bicep. You also have double jointed elbows, which will add for that extra bit of bend to the forearm and bicep area. And then as for the wrist, you can rotate those 360 degrees as well as tilt them outward and inward on both of the arms, which is great. There is some ab crunch to this figure, and one of the things that I don't really like too much about this is body mold that I feel kind of takes away from any extra sort of posability that it could have is there not being a diaphragm cut. Now, I do think that it may have been a bit difficult to get that to work on this figure. I haven't really seen any other body mold to know if it's been done yet with this sort of body mold and shaping, but it might have been a bit weird to kind of get that on this because this is much more of a slim body in comparison to, the retro Spider-Man figure that I have, where it's got a bigger sort of body, a bit more bulky in a way where it can't allow for that diaphragm cut. So maybe that's just not possible with this type of shaping and everything like that. But I think it would have been cool to see that here on this guy. You do have some swivel in the waist area, so you can rotate that and have him, turn at certain angles and stuff, which is great. You also have that usual range of motion in the thigh area, so you can get it as far up as that. If you want him kicking something, you can angle it back, but it stops right there. That's about as far as you're going to really be able to get it. As for the thigh, there is some swivel in there, so you can rotate that. Same thing on the other leg as well. And then you also have double jointed knees, so you can get those knees to go in as far as that, but it's great. And the tilt in the toe is a bit stiff on my figure. I think it's just because it's kind of been sitting for some time, but once you heat the joints up and stuff, if you need to, it'll probably be easier to get that moving and everything like that. But it's great. It seems to be working pretty well from what I can tell. And there's also those ankle rockers, which allow for that extra bit of tilt. So overall, I think that this suit turned out well, and I think that the Hasbro and Marvel Legends team did a great job portraying it in Marvel Legends scale, that nice 6-inch scale, where although these are pretty small, they do a good job at carrying out that detail and everything like that. Now, one of my favorite things, like I said earlier about this guy, is definitely going to be the engraving of the cobweb pattern. Like, instead of just painting it on and actually choosing to add that extra bit of detail to it, was great, and I like that they went the extra mile with that, especially with adding the circuitry details in between the cobweb pattern. Like I said, if you guys have not seen the movie, I won't say why that's there, but it's important for that to be there, and I like that they managed to include that. And as I said earlier too, the only other thing that really kind of bugs me about this figure, despite the usual things of paint kind of rubbing here and not being all the way where it should be, would be the red and black forearm and red and black hands on this figure versus it being black and gold as it should be, which is the way it's finalized in the movie, the way it's shown on the packaging for this figure. That's the only thing that still kind of bugs me. This is probably the only thing that would deter from wanting to pick it up, maybe. But even at that, I still think it's a good pickup. Like, I would recommend getting it, especially if you enjoyed No Way Home. With that being said, though, I do hope you all enjoyed this review, and be sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you did. As of next week, I will be returning to the retro Spider-Man collection figures because I was able to get my hands on the Symbiote Spider-Man from Wave 2, as well as the Shocker from Wave 2. So those will be the next reviews that will be coming up soon on the channel, so stay tuned for that, and subscribe if you guys have not already so you don't miss out on those reviews. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you all later. Peace out.